All right, let's talk about something that I'm sure hits close to home for a lot of you. You've seen it, right? A huge enterprise software project. We're talking millions of dollars poured into it. And yet, when it's all said and done, the systems just can't talk to each other. It's got to be one of the most maddening and expensive problems in all of IT.
So, what is going on here? Why is it that these critical integrations, the very things that are supposed to make our businesses run like a well-oiled machine, so often turn into this total mess? Well, the answer, as it turns out, is usually hiding in plain sight. You know the drill. When an integration blows up, the first finger always points to the code. Everyone assumes, oh, it's got to be a bug, right? Some typo, a little logic error, something a developer missed while burning the midnight oil. But here's the twist. What if the problem was actually baked into the project long before a single line of code was ever written? See, the real culprit isn't some tiny bug. It's a much bigger, much deeper flaw in the blueprint of the software itself. We're talking about an architectural problem.
And this leads us to this really fascinating paradox, right? How can you have 2 or 3 or 10 perfectly good, totally functional pieces of software that just absolutely refuse to work together? The thing is, it's not about the software being bad. It's all about the foundation connecting them being rotten.
So let's break this down. We spend all our time chasing the usual suspect, right? The coding bug. But the real hidden culprit is something called weak API design. Now, think of an API, an application programming interface, as basically the official doorway that lets two different software systems talk. And if that doorway is poorly designed from the get-go, well, it doesn't matter how perfect the code is. The conversation is always going to be broken.
Okay, so let's dig a little deeper into that. What does a hidden architectural flaw actually look like in the wild? What are we talking about when we say weak API design?
Well, to put it simply, it's what happens when APIs get built on the fly, with no real long-term strategy. It's when these supercritical connection points are treated like an afterthought, something you just tack on at the end. And that, my friends, is a recipe for brittle, totally unreliable communication between your most important systems.
And trust me, this isn't some abstract theory. You can see the telltale signs of a shaky foundation all over the place. Things like inconsistent naming conventions, so nothing makes sense. No versioning strategy, so you never know which version you're dealing with. The endpoints are poorly documented, if they're documented at all. And security, authentication, is just tacked on as an afterthought. It's a mess.
Here's the perfect way to picture this. Imagine a manufacturing company, okay? They've got their ERP for inventory, their CRM for customers, and a whole other tool for logistics. And every single time they need those systems to share data, they have to launch a whole new custom engineering project from scratch. That's not a bug. That right there is a classic design problem.
And all this chaos, it's not just some technical headache for the IT team. Oh no, it comes with a very real, very high price tag that quietly bleeds resources from the entire company. These hidden costs, they are brutal. You've got developers wasting endless hours just building one-off connectors and clunky workarounds. Your QA cycles get stretched to the breaking point because nothing is predictable. You can't get access to real-time data when you need it. And maybe worst of all, when something inevitably breaks in production, your best people are stuck spending days, not hours, but days, hunting down a problem that was caused by a bad blueprint to begin with.
And if you want to put a dollar figure on it, get ready for this. Gartner did the math. They estimate that poor data quality, which is a direct result of these busted integrations, cost the average organization a staggering $12.9 million every single year. That number is a straight line back to weak API design.
Okay, so the problem is clear and the cost is, well, it's huge. But here's the good news. This is absolutely a solvable problem. There is a clear blueprint for success, a way to build that solid foundation and stop the chaos before it even starts.
It really comes down to 4 key things. First up, audit. You have to know what you're dealing with, so you need to map out your entire API landscape. Second, standardize. Create one set of rules, one playbook, so everyone is building connections the exact same way. Third, specialize. Look, for the really tricky stuff like AWS or old-school EDI systems, don't try to reinvent the wheel. Bring in experts. And finally, and this is probably the most important one, plan. You have to start treating third-party integration as a day-one, non-negotiable requirement for every single project.
And this quote really says it all, doesn't it? Planning for how your systems will connect with the outside world. It's one of the highest leverage things an architecture team can possibly do. Get that right, and it pays you back over and over again for years to come.
So as we start to wrap things up, the big takeaway here is really a shift in mindset. We have to stop thinking about this as just a coding issue. It's not. It's about the fundamental architecture, the very foundation of your entire digital business.
And let's be crystal clear about something. The cost of going back to fix a shoddy foundation after the fact is almost always way higher than just doing it right the first time. It's the classic definition of pay a little now or pay a whole lot more later.
At the end of the day, it comes down to this. Strong API design isn't just some technical detail buried in the IT department. It's a core business priority. It directly impacts how fast you can move, how efficient you are, and ultimately your bottom line.
So, I'll just leave you with this one question to chew on. As you look at your own business, at the way your systems are supposed to connect, are they really built on a solid digital foundation, or are you just waiting for the cracks to show?